has come. For 300 years, we prepared, we grew stronger. While you rested in your cradle of power.
So this is a fun video to do because it really highlights once again how terrible it is to market your movie or your TV show or your video game or whatever as some kind of woke masterpiece. So many movies last year that really fit this bill that were fun to just make fun of because they were box office disasters. I'm thinking of your Terminator Woke Fates, Charlie's Angels 2019, and so on and so on. It's fun to use these examples because when you market your movie as woke, most of the time, well, in fact, so far, all of the time, these movies have been failures. So we've got this movie, Gretel and Hansel, which is a strange combination because if I'm remembering correctly, the fairy tale was supposed to be Hansel and Gretel. Well, they've made the change for obvious reasons because, well, they jumped Gretel's age, which turns this more into a coming-of-age movie rather than a movie about children that are being outcasted and on poverty and so on and so on. Now it's a coming-of-age movie about a woman coming to like her own power. I mean, this is literally how they are marketing it. I'm going to go over that a little bit. I also want to say what marketing. They didn't really do much. It's almost like they were relying on the power of woke to really bring people to the theaters for this one. But just the name switch around should tell you, changing it from Hansel and Gretel to Gretel and Hansel says a lot right there, doesn't it? I think that's a pretty clear statement that they're making. Also, really confuses consumers, I would think, because when I'm looking at that, I didn't know anything about this. Like, this is wrong. Like, this just says wrong. It's always been Hansel and Gretel, but we need to change it because, of course, the future is female. So let's go back to January 29th, where Yahoo landed an interview with the director of the movie. And let's hear what he said. So I'm going to jump to the interview here where they talk about what the witch tries to teach Gretel. Because, of course, one of the tropes in movies and comics and TV shows like these is that the female characters all like each other. So even though she wants to destroy Gretel, she still wants to teach her about how to be an empowered woman. So let me go through this with you. I'm going to read you this paragraph. The main lesson that Hulda seeks to teach Gretel, by the way, this is the director of the movie talking. That's who's speaking right now. Is that she alone has the power to shape her future, not any authority figure, or for that matter, her younger brother. In one scene, the witch warns her that as Hansel grows older, he'll first come to fear his sister and then hate her, a pointed reference to the way that toxic masculinity can take root in young minds. I tried to create a world in which Gretel's power was assumed to be nothing, Perkins says. The reality she grows up in is that young women are disposable and should expect the least everything. That has to be a typo. The least everything? I don't know. Maybe he was trying to say should not expect anything. I don't know. But when she arrives at the witch's house, she learns that's upside down. Hulda is the most powerful creature by far, and she doesn't have time for the patriarchy. It doesn't factor into how she lives. And that's what she's trying to impart in Gretel. Well, I'm sure that this movie must have debuted at the box office strong. Must have really racked in ticket sales. Damn a marketing team. This movie's running on woke. So, well, let's look at the box office results. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. That's where it is.
You serious?
That's pretty terrible. It's a terrible debut. In fact, we have the final totals for where we're at right now. As of today, on the 4th, so it's Tuesday, this movie came out last Thursday, I'm imagining. It's now sitting at 6 million domestic and 100,000 or so international. It's pretty bad. So, you know, I would say that this movie has made money. I hear it was made really cheap. Because I don't think there was any marketing for this movie. Like I said, I'd never heard of this until some people were telling me to check it out and look into it because it was another get woke, go broke story. And I love those. Those are classic tales. Classic tales that I love. So it did bad. Real quick, another really bad debut that was made was Rhythm. The Rhythm section. So apparently this is a spy woman, like a female James Bond, that all the SJWs claim will be huge, massive hits. Everyone's going to love it, but they don't go watch it. Look at how this one did. Did terrible. So this is why they want to take over the James Bond name desperately, because sometimes it just doesn't stand on its own. So, I don't know if this movie was any good. I just find it funny that they don't go support the things that they claim they need and desperately want. They don't go support it. Here's an original character or whatever, and it's supposed to be a female James Bond, did terrible. None of them go watch it. They just want to rip the things you love away. That's it. They don't really give a damn how these things perform, which is kind of the point. I just find it funny. So Gretel and Hansel did terrible. We go look at the reviews for the movie over on Metacritic, sitting at a 64 based on 16 critics, a user score of 6.2. Rotten Tomatoes is telling a similar story. Critics don't really like it. Audiences don't like it either. So I know a lot of people hate Rotten Tomatoes. I don't like Rotten Tomatoes either because they do play with things, but I don't think they play with things when it comes to smaller films like this. People don't like it. The common thing that I see for this movie is that it's boring and doesn't do anything. Pretty much just tries to rely on being woke. It's really just another PG-13 horror snoozer that tried to put a little bit of wokeness on it, and that didn't quite work out very well for him.
How dare you!
Here's an example of most reviews. I like this one because they really roast the hell out of this movie. They don't really hold back. Woke Gretel and Hansel is a frightful bore. Like I said, that's kind of what I saw on all of the audience reviews and a lot of the critic reviews. They gave it half a star. There's a scene early in the film, Gretel and Hansel, when the two characters accidentally scarf down psychedelic mushrooms in a forest, and it produces one very strong feeling in the audience: jealousy. Oh, if only we could all also be high for the rest of this. If only there was something that could make bearable another hour or so of this art film horror. Forget the popcorn. Just give us shrooms, man. Gretel and Hansel is as visually arresting as it is tedious. A 90-minute movie that really should have been a 3-minute music video for Marilyn Manson or Ozzy Osbourne. It's in the horror genre only loosely, as it's more eerie, if that's a genre. Actually, it's like Dread for 90 minutes. It's dreadful. The Brothers Grimm should really be outraged that their simple story about child abuse, malnutrition, cannibalism, and witchcraft has been so twisted. Rob Hayes' script centers on Gretel, hence the title's name swap, and turns her into a woke coming-of-age superheroine who outsmarts a witch. Why this dusty 19th century ditty needed to be refashioned this way is unclear. What's next? Will the three little pigs soon be resurrected to become vigilante slayers of corporate greed? Pig versus pork? The rest of it, he just completely destroys this movie. I actually thought it was quite a humorous review. I'll link it in the description if you want to read it yourself. So another movie fails with its wokeness. I always love that. I love these stories. That Rhythm section movie is also kind of funny because, well, it's supposed to be a spy movie, well, a female spy movie. And all of these, NPCs and stuff want that movie. That's why they want Jane Bond, which I've always found confusing, that argument. Are you going to change? Is it going to be a female James Bond? Are you going to keep the name James Bond? That would be really strange. I've always found this funny. It's like, just leave it alone. But, you think that they would do their best to mobilize. Let's go see that movie. They didn't do it. You think they'd mobilize, here's a female empowerment movie. You say every movie needs to be this way, you don't go see it. When you finally you get a fairy tale has now become woke. Do you go watch it? Nope. You don't go watch it. You let it fail and miserably burn. Really doesn't show much incentive to keep making movies like this. I don't know why they keep doing it. They're just going to keep running this formula into the ground. They don't sell. It doesn't work. And time again, we get proven right. The real test, I guess, will be Birds of Prey, because they've been really marketing that movie, and they've been using the whole woke narrative with that. This movie got very, very little marketing. Like I said, I'd never even heard of it. They just thought maybe woke magic powers would draw people to the film. Oh, we swapped the names. Oh, yeah, let's go see it. So this movie, I would imagine, so there probably wasn't much marketing. It probably made a little bit of money. I don't want to call it a complete flop because it's hard to say without, knowing how much they spent on it. But either way, it wasn't a smashing success, that's for sure. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie. If you watched it, if you went and saw it, why did you go see it? Please tell me. Yeah, throw a like up, share the video. All of those 3 things really do help. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.